Hello everyone, good evening. Dr. Rao here. I hope you are doing well. Uh, I have had a busy day, uh, very good busy day. Um, as I was looking for chief wellness officers around, I had to really understand the resume, CV, and all that, right? And also LinkedIn profile. But then I have friends who are helping other people with the jobs, and they sent me an article about how to really be compatible with the resume reviewing software companies. No longer people uh, review them right away. It's the software that reviews the ATS. Right? I knew about it before. So subjecting our you know, our LinkedIn profile, our resume to that software, and then that was thrilling to find out. So I gathered some sources about it, and now I am kind of very ready to be able to play the same game that they are playing with the job selection these days. I mean that becomes much easier, and they can go through it. So you got to see the description of the job and then put it in your the qualifications that are appropriate that you have evidence of, and then subject to them. So it's not too bad a thing. It's a simple thing to figure out as long as you are open to new changes, right? That's one thing with me is I'm always open to new possibilities and new technology, new opportunities, and really subject my mind for exercise, not to get stuck with whatever we are grown up with. As a medical practitioner, we had to do that. We were updating our medical knowledge, and then we had to earn certain number of hours for state license and all that. I used to have 4 or 5 licenses before, but now I just keep one just to make sure that it is there. But the rest of it more like a habit of keeping up with what is going on with medical knowledge as such. Okay, like today I was at a conference where they were talking about vaccine for cancer, and also very modern techniques for the ophthalmologic diagnostic equipment and procedures and all that. So we also talked about AI and its play in the medical care as a going. I kind of somebody who kind of embraced AI technology and want to make it a friend for me in delivering whatever healthcare I deliver for my patients. So it should be an asset rather than as a something we don't want to learn. We want to offer instance. That's not me at all. See, one of the reasons is the ancient wisdom showed me if you really want to be young, you really want to be young in mind. That means you should be having the same curiosity, same wonderment, same kind of really want to know, right? So when you approach with that kind of, I want to know what is going on in the field, what is the new, and whole things open up, right? So many things opened up for me. I even want people, young people, also know about this terminology. Young people means young interns, young residents, young doctors, right? Really, in the curriculum itself, they should be having this in the medical school, and also early training of the residency and all that, so that they can be compatible with the newer things rather than fighting against them. I'm going to be teaching and really helping doctors to understand. That was I did all my life, so that's no problem. Even when I was very active in practice, also I did that. They were kids coming from the University of Iowa to my clinic and go through my clinic rotation so they can learn about the primary care, what kind of things we see, what kind of things we treat, and all that. That was there. So, talking about newer technology in uh, AI was a big topic, and I thoroughly enjoyed telling them where I am, how much in the last 6 months I have learned on the AI and attended three or four big conferences. And I'm also enrolled in some things right now. So these kids, they have a lot of new things that they present, which is really exciting. And the important thing is we could implement those into our lifestyle, like automating all the services and having chatbots to run our services. There are a lot of new things out there, very fascinating. But I take time because the time that I have for these things is limited. But I focus. That's another thing too. The more you focus, the better your focus becomes, right? Exposing yourself to newer things and attending to as much as possible during the day, that really improves your mental skills in a major way. It's not like living it and don't exercise our mind at all and expect the mind to be sharp and young and dynamic, right? So if you want a dynamic mind, focus. If you want to have concentration, focus and be attentive to everything. And also be eager about the new things. I think that's a good lesson for the brain management, in the sense that you want to preserve the. Uh, in Sanskrit, there are a lot of terms about the qualities of um, mind. One is called smriti. Smriti means memory. The other one called metha, that is intellectual power. And uh, one is called prajna, that is awareness, right? So I kind of remember them. There are a couple of more things are there. They are like you can really retain a lot of stuff without really struggling if you understand these qualities. And they are produced by some of the lyrics that they wrote and the musical composition that they have made. So just taking those songs and then repeating them, listening to them really helps you with your mental capacities like I described. Okay. So uh, it's a kind of you get to understand how the new things we are approaching and how we are really improving our attention on a daily basis with whatever we do. When I participated in the conference this afternoon, I was very involved in what are the effects of the AI on medical care, on patients, on systems, and all that, and how I can help those areas, either conducting webinars or teaching young doctors or helping the patients to make use of the vast knowledge that is available for them now, and also how to be relevant to their care, and all those things I can help them understand better. So I'm going to do that anyway. So out of the conference that came out. Okay. So um, otherwise the day was busy and doing things. So um, anybody has any special request or want to tell me anything, then you can come up and talk to me anytime. Feel free. Generally, I want to talk about issues of wellness, how to really understand um, how to be joyful without stress and burnout. And that for that you need the wellness of entire organism, body, mind, your spirit and heart and everything, right? So I kind of address each one separately, and there are a lot of things come out of that. Okay. When we really look at the technological change in our mental health, um, it is how we don't treat technology as a tool and then be on top of it. I am a technologist because I have a master's in biomedical informatics and I am very interested in EMR and big data and also meta analysis and all that, right? But also, I'm kind of very interested in the recent latest scientific breakthroughs that are happening on the part of the human organism. Let it be genome, let it be microbiome, let it be genomic based nutrition, and also what is happening at the molecular level, metabolism level, and also longevity. So many topics I'm interested in medical. They're fascinating to see the latest scientific breakthroughs. But at the same time, when I look deeper into the ancient wisdom, they had figured out a lot of generalities of wellness, and then they had developed a lifestyle that was very conducive to it. First of all, they had plant-based diet and they were very close to the nature and they were spending most of the time outdoor. They were physical and they were having simple in their mind and in terms of desires, but they were very rich in their understandings, their real application into daily life. There was one man, his name was Agastya. Everybody knows about him because he lived for a very long time. I don't know the truth of it, but then somebody told me that he lived for 450 years. But he lived a long time, that much for sure. Average lifespan at the time was 125. That is there. But then there are stories that these people lived very, very long time. But more than that, what's important is he kind of devised spiritual principles into daily life so that people don't have to think about it before doing it. They first do it and then they try to understand. That's fine. But there are people, separate class of people whose business was that to disseminate this knowledge and understanding, right? I'll give an example. For example, if you go to any village, right now it is invading, but then before, if you go to a village, they have these multiple festivals. One of each festival comes at a season that is very relevant to it, and the things that they do are with that. For example, during the summertime, this is Sri Rama's celebration come, right? And then they used to give us this very nice water that is mixed with jaggery. That is a jaggery, that, right? Jaggery, sugarcane product. And also they put some like a ilachi, and some ginger maybe, but then they used to arrange this big container having this liquid, just water, and put it very nicely, and then they give that water free for you in that summer months because they were celebrating by electing uh, all these sheltered areas around the city, and you can step into that, and then they put this in earthen pot containers, and they are no air conditioning, nothing, but they just put, they're very economical. They put earthen pot container and they put all the water in there, and then they mix that jagger and all that. They prepare it a certain way. It's not just taking and mixing. There's a certain way, but the product is very thirst quench. I remember we were coming from the medical college going home, and then we stepped in those centers where they give it this free, and then we took a cup of it, and all the thirst and all the dehydration like feeling is gone. So that is come from the ancient times. So they said you should always have jaggery in your house. You should have ghee, that is the melted butter, and you should have honey. These three are always in the house, and they have innumerable health benefits. So they weaved seasonal things, seasonal drinks, seasonal fruits into our regular life, right? So they kind of make a celebration, like you make a turkey for the Thanksgiving. They have festivals for every month, almost every season. Each lunar moon also has some significance. So, understanding spirituality, that means the needs of the organism, and then arranging not only these food products and the drink products, but also how you can feel very relaxed by exposing yourself to very nice, relaxing music, and also laughter, and really enjoying outdoor performance of the artists, and that too, that involved telling stories about what is the right behavior, what is the non-righteous behavior, what are the consequences of it, and all. So yeah, basically, they took anything, any celebration of the festival, and waved around the festival at that age, at that season, seasonality. So you don't have to make an effort, but it's already weaved into it. So each festival has a special um, dish that you prepare, and special fruits that come for the season, and special containers, all that. So another thing is, uh, they don't have antibiotics at the time, right? They don't have, but they have a lot of bugs and all. So to ward them off, what they do is they raise these neem trees. These neem trees have this leaves and bark and everything. They are very antiseptic products, right? So having that wind come over, and then it kind of wipes up a lot of bugs. So that's valuable. So they grew. We had two trees, one in the back, one in the front. But they came up. I think they planted a long time ago, so they were very tall, above our house. So you got a lot of wind and a lot of nice leaves, and also this antiseptic property of the tree really protected the air around your house. I'm not exaggerating. Really, it was there. And then they kind of studied neem. Now people have neem in toothpaste. People have neem leaves and neem products, and then now Americans are getting neem in tablet form that they can take. See, but I grew up with those trees, and not knowing the effects of that. It's wonderful to see that. That's how they always integrated some of these spiritual truths that they have found out into our daily life. Okay. Uh, that was really fascinating for me to look at. And other thing is, they have these games that they play with each other, and really help themselves to exercise very effectively. It's called kabaddi. That's a kind of eight people here, eight people, two teams, and they'll be playing each other. You have to repeat about kabaddi, 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 and then you have to catch them before they stop. Something like that. So, but that involves a lot of physical activity, and then you really have to put your heart into it. It makes you very tired, and also at the same time exhilarated, and then you have a good game of. And then they have games where they used the like a the snakes and ladders. That was there in the ancient times. That is when it was born there. Chess, it was born there. So these are mind games. It prepares your mind acuity very much so. So like that. If you take democracy, for example, they kind of had this really untold democracy, because the king is there to take care of the people as his children. That is how they built it up. And then They can go anytime. For example, some of the standards are they can go and really ring the bell, and then the king will see you even in the middle of the night, and you can tell your grievance, and then they will look into it. That kind of thing. Of course, the performance of the fine arts, the music, the sculpture, the literacy, and all that, that was sponsored by the king. So that the artists don't have to struggle for their living, and they gave complete expression of their art. So they produced marvelous works of sculpture, marvelous works of painting, marvelous works of fortresses, temples, a lot of infrastructure, right? So when I went and saw some of these ancient places, it was awe, really, But then when they did all that, the spirituality is inner balance, inner equanimity that is coming out as your talent, you know. So I'm fascinated by the lifestyle that had on time and how we kind of eroded that. But now we can revisit that kind of deals. So that's always there. So anybody has any questions or any comments, you can come out and talk to me about it. No, don't be shy, because it's all just free uh, exchange of some of the things that are influencing me. See, I'm in the ancient wisdom, and also I'm in the modern technology, modern breakthroughs of the medicine. It's fascinating to combine both of them, and then not rejecting either of them, right? There are people who say we are the most current medicine, that's why this is current. That is stupid, really, because for centuries this ancient wisdom was the one which helped them live better and live in really sharp minds, and then lasted long time, and they were joyous too, and they protect the nature. And we are not only destroying the nature, but also human beings are not being taken care of. Human beings are made to work, 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 but burn out, stress out, but not like there's a motto to take care of the employees, and so that they can really contribute. That's what I think is possible. Okay, I certainly did in my corporation when I ran my practice, and I'm still doing it with my online company too. We can do that. So only thing is we have to have an open mind. Be ready for the new. Pay attention. And then we can create, right? And you can listen to your employees and then understand their needs, and then make sure they're provided. Okay. One of the things I discovered with the AI is it kind of liberates a lot of my time. I don't know what I would have done without them, because I produce a lot of things, books and all that. But then for me, I read them a lot of it, and then I write the articles, I read the blog posts, things like that, right? And I'm doing much faster. So I can do a lot, and then really allot myself to exercise, to meditate. My meditation is called self-inquiry. Atma Chittan, they're called. What it is um, I don't repeat something, but what I do is I turn my mind inward and then study whatever is happening in my mind. This is like a turning our own mind on itself. This is called Raja Yoga. Raja means king. Yoga, king of yoga, right? So this is about the mind. This is about mind, studying mind and understanding out of those insights. We can have more control about what we are thinking, what we are feeling, how we are expressing them, what is happening to the other people by you doing that, and how you refine it. And then eventually you will be more helpful than really putting people down, right? So that's what happens. So if you guys have questions on self-inquiry, Atmachintan, send them to me. I'll be happy to answer, because it's one thing to sit down and concentrate on a task. It's one thing to really sit down and calm your mind. It's one thing to gather all your thoughts and be attentive. It's another thing to sit down and meditate in the sense that I'm going to repeat only one word all the time and then going beyond that word, right? But real meditative awareness is you're always in awareness and you don't have disparate thoughts and a lot of things going all over, not like a monkey mind, not like a chattering mind, but more like a calmness, stillness is your nature, and then you stay there. And then use the thought to do the stuff outside. Suppose I have to go somewhere, I have to use my thought to at least go and hire a taxi and tell the taxi driver this is the address I'm going. And then he can take, but while you're traveling, you can just watch around you, or you can just, go into yourself and then take deep breaths or whatever you can do. But you don't engage in this chattering mind. That means you are thinking about yesterday, tomorrow, what happened 2 years ago. None of that. You are in the present moment. So Atma Chintan actually makes you realize that because you question where are these thoughts coming from? What part of inner consciousness that are coming from? Once you realize that and once you stay in that original origin of the thoughts, then thoughts are under your control. Thoughts don't go all over. Okay, it's a very healthy, very invigorating practice in the morning and in the evening. You try to do that. Sit down, close your eyes, don't have distractions around you as much as possible, and then pay attention what's going on in your head. What kind of things are coming up? What kind of you know all the chattering thoughts coming up, scattering all over, and taking you into your past, or taking you, projecting into the future, and then getting frustrated because so many things are coming you cannot control, and you have to attend to different responsibility in life, to your family, to your health, to your workplace, to society as a whole. You have to work so hard, so it becomes too much, right? But if you can really try to be balanced and equanimous within you, and then you have the control of not only of your body and mind, but also your word and also whatever you do. Once you have that kind of power, that is not over anybody, just for yourself, the strength, the resilience that is inside, then you approach life in a much more meaningful, much more joyful way. Because whatever you do is joyful. Whatever you do is like a happiness, and then really blissfully you are doing everything. I certainly have been doing that, so that's why I don't really care for the crowd or comments or likes. I care about even one or two persons coming and asking me, that's good enough. Okay. Even if they don't ask, I'm here to just to say my piece, and then that's okay. So not having this expectation helps me not to be disappointed, because it's not transactional, right? It's not like you got to do this before I come and talk. No, I will come and talk and share and give whatever I can give. That should be one thing for sure, is that should be sharing, which is not forcing anybody or imposing on anybody, but presenting the data, and that should help them. Certainly not to hurt them. You see, we learned in medicine, first do no harm. So there is no intention of propaganda or forcing anybody to change. It is only a question of helping them to, because I'm a physician, yoga practitioner, all that, I want them to heal from whatever suffering they have, if they have, or try to learn things that they can avoid this suffering that can be in the modern life. Okay. Otherwise, people are really melting down, burning out, stressing out. Right. So when I see that, kind of, it's a kind of duty of the fellow citizen to lend hand. They could be my patients, they could be my family members, or they could be my friends, my colleagues, or just people coming to hear me like this here, right? So all those things are really joyful things if you really want to give something, right? So that's what happens. So integrating spiritual principles into modern life, that has become my mission, right? But not neglecting uh, current scientific breakthroughs. Like today, I was talking about how uh, AI can be uh, actually taught for younger physicians so that they can merge with it better. See, there's a discussion going on. There were doctors and they were talking about how is this AI making doctors feel and adopt into this. A lot of people are complaining they are already behind, they are not putting so much. But that was the case with the medical field as a whole. They do adopt a lot of technology for the devices, for surgical, for the heart and all that. That is there. But if you take finance industry and compare medical industry, financial industry adopts the technology much faster, right? See, when I was really implementing EMR, it was like a very early, okay, like in the uh, maybe maybe like uh, 2006, 8 or something like that, so somewhere there. Then the EMRs were not really viewed by physician community as something that they want to implement because they thought it is going to interfere with their workflow and it's going to make them, do all. Even now, the doctors who are not really embraces the technology and adapted like I did, they are really suffering because they are not able to make the tool to recruit the tool so that it can help them to document fast and all. Say, for example, when I went to other hospitals as a hospitalist, I used to work there for 1 week and come back to my practice for another week, and then I used to go back there. I visited a few hospitals because I wanted to get familiar with the different EMR system. There are Epic, there is Cerner, there is MedTech, so many e-clinical works like that. There are so many different EMRs. I started with the Cerner, and very clinky, very difficult system to implement. And then the Epic was a big deal, and I enjoyed that. MedTech is another, I enjoyed that, and eClinic works in my clinic and all that. So there are so many EMRs that I enjoyed, and then I understood that has to be teamed, that has to be put to work for me. So first a few weeks I'm there in the new hospital, I kind of work with the computer, uh, you know, specialists and all that. They come and then they talk about uh, all jingles, like a car salesman tells you all sorts of things that you may not need, but just to entice you, tell everything. But you need a safe car, you need a gas saving car, and you need a like air conditioner, minimum comforts that you want for your family, and basically safety as the top priority. But everything else is like a music system or tires or different, all those things that they say, or like a paint sealer and all that, we may not need them. So like that, EMR, I figured out that we need to do one thing at a time, and also you don't want to learn everything on the first day. What is that we are going to do? Like we're going to examine a patient, admit a patient. So admission, how do you do it? And once the patient is in the hospital, you're going to see him every day. So how are you going to put your progress report, and how do you order medications? How do you order your tests? How do you communicate with the specialist? All those things that you do, you have to know. And then you have to know how to discharge a patient. Those only those three things are important: admitting, progress note, and discharge. I used to train physicians, and very soon I discovered that they are overloading themselves unnecessarily. But what, suppose I have an X-ray, I want to, before what used to happen, we have to wait for the radiologist to give the report, and he may, do it in a day or two, or sometimes more. Then you have to wait for that. Now I can see the X-ray on my desktop. I can see it on my phone, right? So you have to use the tool properly. But many doctors are getting burned out mainly because the CMR also increased a lot of documentation time. So they felt like we're being like clerks documenting all these things. But there is a way to do that. First, you have to figure out what are the documentation styles on each MRR, and then there are templates, and you can build up your own template, and then you can also build up your desktop that can do lots of shortcuts and all. I use AI like that now. The same principle. Getting to know the new technology, embracing it for the positive thing that it can contribute. So leverage the AI system for our life. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, as long as your intentions are dharma, that is working for the betterment of the common good of many or all, right? And then this I got on the bandwagon of EMR mainly because I want to democratize the medical data. It used to be if you want medical records from your own medical records from a medical clinic, you have to wait a long time. Suppose you went to some other state from here, and it's very difficult to get them. So it used to delay weeks and all that, and the patient care is compromised with that. But then now I can see the EMR anywhere in the country or even in the world. I was in India one time, and I was able to see what's going on with my patient from here. Okay, yeah, as long as you have access to the internet, I was able to do that. So it's all a question of being open and not being arrogant, like I'm the only one who knows everything. You will be learning and you will be absorbing and you will be integrating that into your regular life. Okay, it's not practical just to say what I know I'm going to do. This is the practice. What you think is practical may have gone. What is practical now is understand the AI and then implement. Okay, otherwise you will be left behind and you'll have to really suffer because you don't have the skills. That's what I'm telling my colleagues, my other doctors there, that you better uh, take interest, leverage the AI to improve your business or education, whatever you're doing, and use the language, use the AI technology to help your patient, to help your hospital, to help your society, and all. There's so many things I suggested there. I don't want to go into that now here, but there are so many plans I have. How is that I'm going to help with this AI with other people? What is that my role going to be? The three headings, 20 some different things have come, and I kind of presented briefly some of them to the crowd, and they were very appreciative and very happy that those expositions were made because they were not thinking that far, right? They were thinking more like how can I resist this? How can I escape it? How can I do my own thing? No, this is the most important change or the biggest change human race has got. Nuclear or Einstein's theory of relativity or so many things have happened, right? But this is the biggest because this has the potential to take over your thinking. So that's the thing that people are afraid. But then, if you understand it from the beginning, and if you make it do a lot of things for you, you will be better off. Okay, but I don't want to be servant to the technology, but I want to use them as tool, and that's quite possible. But the only thing we do is jump into it and know about it, learn it, right? And then if you have outward tools and also inward peace and uh, equanimity or balance within from the ancient wisdom, I think you are a winner. That's my new definition of winner, right? So at least I'm trying to be at least measure up to some of that. I still have a long way to go. I'm going to study and improve myself constantly. That's one thing. To be young You got to be learning something new every day. Everybody knows that, right? But we let our mind slip into patterns of thinking, thinking that is comfortable. That is where you are stepping out of life, where you are not growing, you are not really helping yourself to grow the brain. Okay? Your inner consciousness, inner self doesn't need growth. It's already there. Go and realize it. But your body and mind, they can use this. What do you say? Anybody has comments on that? There are 29 people here. At least one of them should have comment. Yeah, so that exposition of AI and its role is going to be a part of my contribution to my patients and to my doctor friends and the hospitals I'm going to be visiting and all that. Right? Lots of times that happens. I kind of offer my insights into the latest technology, and which is kind of taken gratefully by the core team. So when I go to the hospital, there is a CEO, Chief Executive Officer, there is a CIO, Chief Information Officer, there is a CFO, Chief Financial Officer. These three people meet me, and then we talk about health policy. And because I'm in touch with what is happening, health policy in Washington, there is a way to follow. And also following the scientific community, what's going on with the research and all that. Then there is a revenue angle where how much money is they're going to get from what, and also there is a satisfaction of the patient, and also so many trials going on scientifically. So I compile data from all these resources. It is easy once you are following all the time. Okay, so and also enjoying that. So all this data is integrated, and now what I used to do in a month, I can do in half a day data analysis if I want to, right? I only take certain things. I don't take everything, only certain things that are interesting me. For example, if I see a lot of diabetic ketoacidosis in a hospital, that's a terrible thing for the patient and terrible thing for the hospital too. If you really train a diabetic on diet, exercise, sleep, and the rest, you, lack of stress and all that, it will take a couple of hours for you to talk to him. And they pay you $60 for that. But if you keep this patient who is sick and diabetic ketoacidosis, he's almost near the death. If you don't take care of him, he will die. But then a couple of days, we do aggressive fluid management and controlling blood sugar with the insulin drip and all that, right? A couple of days like that in the ICU costs a couple of grand, probably gone up now, you know. So that is the problem with the paradigm of the health. You want to spend your biggest bucks on the people who are really very, very sick because your own negligence of it, and then allowing these things to get up to that, you know. But you don't pay for preventive wellness work. And then patients are also sleeping in this state of aware. I would say that's the biggest thing we want to see. Patients aware of, well, what is the value of proactive wellness? How can we be away from all these serious illnesses? If I could have, you know, suppose you have an autonomic, auto dominant gene, okay, then you cannot do much, you know. But then if the gene is there, sometimes the lifestyle changes can help a little bit, okay. But in epigenetics, which are really about the genes, right, they can be changed with the lifestyles. So why are we not doing much on that? That's the question, right? So it's a kind of adopting the ancient lifestyle of living simply outward is very, very important for everything, for our planet, for our societies to save the money. from the patients to have the quality of life. See, that's my argument. And I'm alone on that, but then I'm very convinced about it, and I live it, and I'm asking other people to look at it, doctors and other, and they agree with me after they look at it really, because lots of times they may not have the time and they are loaded with a lot of work. So how can they do? They cannot really um, uh, go there and learn. Sometimes they don't have the time or they don't have the energy. You go in the morning and you work so many hours, and then lots of it is really very very tension. uh, See, imagine you go there and the patient is coded. You got to run to the side of the patient and save him. By maybe half an hour it takes, but in half an hour you're so intense, you are burned out at the end of it if you don't take care of yourself. And then things happen like that through the day, and so many things people kind of make you do, and it is increasing. The workload is enormous on the physicians and the nurses, and the threats are enormous. Malpractice suits, and on the other hand, these administrators will try to find fault with this and then really make their life miserable. That's also happen. Insurance company give you a lot of grief for discharging for them. So many attacks on the physicians and nurses, and that's why I kind of extend myself to help my colleagues, because I believe most of them are trying to do the best they can. But then the amount of work and everything. Susan was telling me last night that in Arizona, uh, sh- five of her primary care doctors that she signed up to be with, one after one, five of them left the profession. So you can see the crisis that the medical profession will be. On top of it, artificial intelligence has come. Probably it will do a lot of things. What I am saying is take interest in that. Recruit it as a tool that can help your job. Mundane things, routine things, all the things that we do, one after one, the same things. You can delegate to the AI. That's my style. Clone and delegate. So then you are doing a good job, but also at a rapid pace using the technology, and then go and spend time with the patients, talking to them, taking care of them, also writing about, like I do new things, they can also do new things too. So anyway, it is not about me. I'm talking about AI, how it can be really paid attention to, learn from it, and implement. I think that is applicable to everybody, not just the doctors, because I was talking to the doctors this afternoon. These things have come, and I had to express my opinion on that, and they are kind of amazed. But then that's the fact. The technology is there. It's very challenging if you don't go at all. And then I said, go and meet the thought leaders, go and meet the AI experts, go into those groups. I'm into those groups. I have a group called AI for Business, but they talk about the automating the workflow. I adopted it. They have chatbots coming up, right? And how many people are employing the chatbots? To you can recruit it as a receptionist for you, and 24 hours it will answer calls and questions and then make everything easy. But you have to build it up, but it's not that bad, easily done. You don't need to have know the programming. You can do it yourself. So I'm into all that, and appropriate schools and all that. So there are so many avenues where we can. Do you guys know that I get involved in all these activities? uh, uh, Probably you don't know because I'm here all the time. You think no, even when I'm doing something, I listen on the like a radio, and because I take interest in Noon Vibe, I take interest in the people there, and then I get listen to them, and they may play politics, they may do whatever. I don't have to care about that, but I come and share and go. But I do it according to the time I can allot, right? So anybody wants to say anything about so many issues I talked about? Some things are coming up with my activities. One is this NEW. Okay? That's a membership program I started, and that is for people to come and explore things along with me. Being there, elderly people, young people, whoever interested in various activities that go on with like what's called satsang, which is like a meeting new people. You can explore deeper issues of life as per ancient wisdom. You can train in yoga for your illnesses too. You can continue your modern treatment, but add this as a more enhancing, healing faster, and getting older better, all those things, right? And I can teach breathing, I can teach meditation, and also I can show them some songs that I like, which have really played a role in my spiritual uh, kind of understanding, you know. So the and that inspired me all those the songs and all that. And then I was going to present them some of the poetry I read and I like, and I can teach them how to keep yourself younger by doing lots of things, enhancement of human being I call. So like that, I want to provide them avenues of interest and growth and really fulfillment. You know? So that's the idea of that. Actually, it started with elderly people, you know, because a lot of elderly people who are not going to the what do you say nursing homes, but staying by themselves because their family grew and then have to move away. So they're kind of finding lonely and also not having the meaning and purpose. They're kind of down in their life. One time they were occupied, they were working, they are center of the family, and they were doing a lot of either mom or dad, right? But then later on, the emptiness syndrome and all the kids have gone, and now they are not in the office. They are laid out, or they are entrepreneur going through a lot of stress. Elderly people can go through a lot of stress too, right? So we don't want that, you know. So for those kind of people, I created this membership that they can come and then they can use all these resources that I have. They can participate through me. There is a Facebook group also. They can come and you can have live sessions where I can have answering questions for the group, that kind of thing. So I want more structured, more really interested people that really want to understand, you know. So not to make a business, but more like a sharing, right? So of course there will be a nominal fee for that membership, but what they get is maybe 10 times to that. Okay. So it's not a question of making a lot of money. It's a question of how we can make impact, right? That's what we are trying. That is going to be given to you how to come into that and all that. They've just made a landing page for that. I have a new team. They are doing that. You know? So anybody interested that way, they can come and join. Even few people, that's fine. Okay, but it will be real important and real meaningful for them. That much I can promise. Okay. Um, I spend a lot of time with individual elderly people, and then I figured out that they all have this need in our society. Then I saw a story on people in the university towns, and they were able to go to different programs in the university itself for a lesser money. They have a membership too, and then they can go and participate in any number of activities for the same price. I thought that was a needed service because I know about geriatric population and their needs and their problems too. That way, I created this. You know, it's very meaningful to me, and I enjoy participating in that group. And also, I'm a member of thought leaders group, that is also very, on the school we have that, and there are a lot of professionals, a lot of others, a lot of big time people, I think. So I can get to present my articles and participate discussions and all. I don't get to do every day, but at least once a week I'll be there. And they invite me for a lot of things, but I cannot make it all the time. And they need complete involvement. And that's a very good group, thoughtful and engaged thought leaders. Its name ETL. So like that, right? So, and I come on the morning routine and other things that I do with the friends on the social media. Um, that's good for me and good for them too. Apart from my wellness club, I get to do this yoga routine again. And I actually, what I do in the wellness club is more exercise, because I can see the people who are doing it with me, and I can go a little bit further because they are used to certain things and they want to advance their practice. See, yoga, it can be basic, it can be mid advanced, and then real advanced, right? So same, like if you take a standing pose, two, you take something like a warrior pose, you can have very basic one, which I do in the morning routine, or you can have like a mid-level, maybe difficulty, you say, yeah, mid-level. Yeah, that means your body is more flexible and able to do better than the basic one. But then there is an advanced one where you not only have this difficult posture, but then once you assume it, it's not difficult for your body because you're used to that, right? And then you hold it for a longer time, and then you also chant certain poems which have value, and then the benefit you get with advanced, even if you do a few of them, is enormous. Like what we do in the morning routine is one time, for example, and what you do is 4 times, 6 times, then the morning routine, right? In the morning routine, because everything is like a, I don't know who is doing out there and what their condition is, what kind of thing. So I deliberately try to be simple and easy, right? So the wellness club, I really get a good workout, myself too, because we always extending the goal post, right? So that's a very good. Even a few students are there, but they are kind of advanced, right? Already. New people will have to pick it up, but then we have different sets of things that I introduce people. Suppose I'm doing the chain pose. I could tell people, okay, stand up on the both feet, and now bend and sit down in an imaginary chair and keep your hands elevated. I can do that. Lots of times people cannot keep their hands that long because they are not strong, right? But they improvise. And the same chair, what you do is you can go down, 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 where your thighs are touching your heels, and you stay on the toes. That is advanced chair pose, right? Can you imagine that? You are on the toes, and your back of the legs and the back of the thighs are together, and your hands are up and in front. So that's how you can take your body from basic level to advanced slowly, without hurting, but at the same time feeling much better at the end of it. But it takes time. You got to have the patience. You got to have the uh, discrimination of when to advance. It's not by willpower. It is by habit, cultivating that, right? So a lot of the yoga that people do is like exercise, but it's not. It's not exercise. It's much more than that. It's like a integrating your entire human being. There's so many levels are there. 5 levels, right? I talked about this. So So it's almost 7 o'clock. If you guys want to come up, I'll stay a few more minutes. Otherwise, I'll be closing. I'm happy I told what I wanted to tell you. I'm happy I told you about the AI and how to adapt it. I told you about the doctors say as a whole, and I told you about yoga finally. So many things that they come out to my mind. I'm speaking, but you have specific questions that will be nice. It's already 7 o'clock now, so uh, I will take leave now. If you don't have any, I can say another half an hour. I think I don't have anything scheduled. Then we'll have dinner, and then we'll probably retire after that. Uh, so I have half an hour for dinner, so I can spend time with you people. See, that new membership is one, wellness club is another one, and I'm planning a master class on walking. How yoga helps walking from people advanced age cannot walk on their own to real walkers, real professional walkers, or people who do the walking, and then they participate in a lot of tournaments too, and to athletes, to students, and generally encourage the walking as an exercise for people, but they don't know what are the muscles involved. Maybe they have some idea about simple things, but then they don't know how to really nurture them, train them, so that your walking will be more efficient, and also you get more out of that walking. So what you walk by yourself half an hour, and you take this master class and walk, you will definitely notice improvement. Not only you're comfortable, you're walking better, you are walking faster and all that, but also you don't have much injuries, right? You can protect yourself. And also, you will build up the muscles that are involved in walking. So, in the long run, the people of my age, they cannot walk, they don't have balance, or they don't have the power, or they will be sitting in the chair too much. And so we need to teach them balance, concentration, and strength, right? So we do that. As I said, athletes or anybody tournaments and all that, they require special attention so that their efficiency of walking goes up, and then their proficiency is much better too. So we can do that, and we can do the rehabilitation work. People who have knee surgeries, ankle surgeries, or hip surgery, whatever, then we need to enhance the rehab experience. Now, this is something I could really tell you, because what happens after surgery, many people do some rehab, but not enough intensity in a safe way. So that's what I focus on. Okay. And then there is another thing we do often, that's a wellness summit, and also facial yoga. And there is a new one, present moment awareness. All these are planned. I don't know the dates, but then I'll let you know. So I have a lot of fun doing them. That's why I do them. Okay. So first of all, I refresh all the things that I learned, and sharing them really becomes kind of concretized in my mind. That's a good advantage, and also I genuinely enjoy these things. So it's fun for me, right? So look for that, and I will be seeing you then. Okay. Okay. See you in the morning with our morning routine. Okay. Bye bye.